Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. I know why you're here. I know why you're here. You're waiting to see, is he going to make the same faux pas, the same mistake that he made yesterday? I have no idea what you're even talking about, but I'm not going to make that mistake. Get lucky in no time at Parks Casino Shippensburg. Parks Casino Shippensburg, they are celebrating their second anniversary. Congratulations to Parks in Shippensburg. Great time for you to take my recommendation and check out all the action, the entertainment, the excitement that they have to offer. Parks Casino Shippensburg is in central Pennsylvania. It is 100% smoke-free, less than an hour from Harrisburg, our state capital. 500 state-of-the-art slot machines, 48 live dealer electronic table games featuring blackjack and roulette, plus a great daily happy hour and award-winning Liberty Bar and Grill. Tomorrow, and every Friday night, comedy night. Terry McNeely from Comedy Central headlines tomorrow night. And then Saturday night, live music, the duo Bonnie and Clyde, free at the Side Pocket. So go have some fun and see. There's nothing like seeing live entertainment, right? You can wager, watch all your favorite sports, and bet sports at the kiosks in the Side Pocket. Enjoy the Side Pocket Stadium menu all weekend long. This is for you. Hagerstown, Maryland, Winchester, Virginia, Chambersburg, PA, Martinsburg, West Virginia, and many more. Get in on the action. Visit parkscasino.com. Got to be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Thank you so much if you voted on yesterday's poll question. Last Saturday, we had 67,000 people vote on the poll question at Smerconish.com. That was the poll question of why does Donald Trump continue to speak of a third term if the 22nd Amendment so clearly precludes it? And I asked, is he just, screwing with people? Is he needling his opponents? Or is he serious about it? 67,000. That was not our highest ever, though. Our highest ever was this one poll question that pertained to the Middle East after the events of 10/7, where there were more than 200,000 votes. And we thought initially that they weren't legit, but they were. That many people actually hit the website and voted. But 67,000 is the second highest. And ever since that day, we have been plus 30,000 on the voting, and that continued yesterday. 31,983 votes. Thank you for casting your ballot. What was everybody voting on yesterday? Okay, it was the James Carville question. Is James Carville correct in saying it's time for Democrats to embark on the most daring political maneuver in the history of our party? Roll over and play dead. And the yes votes carried. 57.84%, almost 60%, agreeing with the Ragin' Cajun. Here's he wrote an essay for the New York Times. It was in the newsletter yesterday. I've got a sneeze coming on. Everybody be patient. This could be exciting. Okay, not yet. I'll just continue, but the sneeze is still there. Here's what Carville wrote. With no clear leader to voice our opposition and no control in any branch of government, it's time for Democrats to embark on the most daring political maneuver in the history of our party. Roll over and play dead, allow the Republicans to crumble beneath their own weight, and make the American people miss us. Only until the Trump administration has spiraled into the low 40s or high 30s in public approval polling percentages should we make like a pack of hyenas and go for the jugular. Until then, I'm calling for a strategic political retreat. I loved the calls on yesterday's program. I knew this was going to be a great subject. Some people had their hair on fire, like the 7,000 who commented on Carville's essay and said, like, the nation is in collapse. How can this possibly be the right strategy? And others, almost evenly divided among the callers who called the program, said, Carville is onto something. You're not going to be able to stop Trump. Remember, the day prior poll question, that would have been the Tuesday poll question, I asked, what's going to slow his momentum? And the answer was nothing. Like nearly 30% said nothing. Let it play out for better or for worse. There was also some discussion on yesterday's program about the parliamentary system. Think of the Brits. Think of the way that Israel does it. A party wins and then they put forth their leader and they have more of a free hand to really make change. Some people who commented yesterday on the poll question, thought that maybe this is a way things should be done. Let a party really govern the way they want. And if we don't like them, we throw them out. And of course, then others said, yeah, but what about reproductive rights in the meantime? What about cuts to Medicaid? What about the reduction of the size of government? These things will be hard to restructure when Trump is gone. So anyway, great poll question yesterday. I knew that today I wanted to do a media-related poll question because there's been a lot of good fodder. Two issues in particular. Yesterday, had a good conversation with Mark Halpern. Usually we agree, but we didn't see totally eye to eye on the White House Correspondent Association and the Trump changes to the White House Correspondent Association. And then Steve Scully was also a great guest on the program yesterday because Steve has been directly involved in some of these issues in the past. Steve, of course, my colleague who hosts a great show right after me on POTUS. But this really pertains to who gets to cover the president in close quarters. Think the Oval Office and think Air Force One. And heretofore, the White House Correspondent Association has determined what that pool will be. And the White House obviously, gets to make sure that they've got a seat at the table as well. And the change now is that the White House isn't going to recognize that tradition, that norm. And on one hand, it sets the stage for a lot of softball questions being asked of this president. On the other hand, I have to say this: I watched the better part of yesterday's cabinet meeting. It was amazing. I mean, for an hour, it was just Trump in the cabinet room, surrounded by the cabinet, and with Elon Musk present, taking questions, mostly of Trump and of Musk, but other cabinet members as well. I saw a statistic, yes, on Fox News, but I believe it to be correct, that Trump in his first month has taken more than 1,000 questions from the press. And Biden in that same time period was, 140 or so, like a 10-to-1 ratio, which I don't doubt. I appreciate the fact that Trump is making himself available to the media. And on this White House Correspondent Association issue, I think that somewhere in between, lies the way it ought to be handled. That I like the idea of a professional organization making sure that their needs and the needs of their members are satisfied, so that you've got print representation and you've got television representation, you've got wire representation. I think it's an appalling trend for Trump to say, I'm going to shut out the AP because they won't call it the Gulf of America. And by the same token, I think that the media has changed. The model has changed. Where people get their news has changed. And for the White House to want to recognize certain outlets, and yes, they'll be friendly, I think that's okay, as long as there's balance. So that was one media-related issue that's covered in the newsletter today and posted right now at Smerconish.com. But none of this is the final poll question. The final poll question on this Thursday asks, is it the prerogative? By the way, how do you spell prerogative? Prerogative. I don't mind telling you that spell check saved me on that. Yeah, prerogative. Is it the prerogative of a newspaper owner to set editorial policy? I'm kind of forcing you to vote with Jeff Bezos, because I think when I ask in the abstract, I think people are inclined to say, if you're the owner of the paper and we're talking only about editorial policy, then I'm okay with the owner of that outlet determining what the policy will be, as long as the editorial policy and the news reporting remain distinctly different. And Jeff Bezos is saying here, and this comes on the heels of the Washington Post, no doubt, when they were about to endorse Kamala Harris, saying that they were going to end endorsements. And reportedly, the Post lost like 250,000 subscribers. I wonder how many of them came back. So now Jeff Bezos, I'll just give you the lead of the Post coverage. Washington Post owner Jeff Bezos said Wednesday that the newspaper's opinions section would now be focused on personal liberties and free markets, and won't publish anything that opposes those ideas. With the shift, Opinions editor David Shipley has resigned, and the Post is searching for a successor. It sounds like Jeff Bezos envisions the editorial policy of the Washington Post to be much like the policy of the Wall Street Journal. And he himself then published a note and explained exactly what he's trying to do. We are going to be writing every day, these are Bezos' words, in support and defense of two pillars, personal liberties and free markets. We'll cover other topics too, of course, but viewpoints opposing those pillars will be left to be published by others. And he goes on to say that when he presented this to Shipley and offered him the opportunity to help implement this, he said that any answer that wasn't a hell yes had to be a no. And editor Shipley was not prepared to give him the hell yes, and so he's leaving. There were nearly 7,000 comments that I saw appended to the Post coverage of this, and overwhelmingly they were antagonistic. Quote, I'm supposed to rely on social media for opinions? No thanks. I relied on trusted opinion writers who back their opinion with facts. So that's the poll question today. Is it the prerogative of a newspaper owner to set editorial policy? Mine's a yes vote. I think if I put Bezos' name in that, I think the voting would be different than it will turn out at Smerconish.com. Will you please like and subscribe and set yourself up for notifications? And I hope you've reserved the date, Tuesday, March 11, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, for the release of the Mingle movie. I'm going to do something live. I'm going to do something live via YouTube that night, kind of set it up and explain what went into it, and then roll for the first time the Mingle movie as recorded last September, the 22nd, in Asheville, North Carolina. So for all the people who have put up with me talking about I'll be speaking here, speaking there, but never coming to their community, this is now the free opportunity for everybody to see me make my case about our societal disconnect and how we repair it in the span of an hour, or I guess the running time is an hour and 10 minutes. So please don't make plans on March 11 unless they're with me. Love to have you there. Thank you, gang. See ya.